And now, live from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sehnita Joshua Madison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up San Gabriel Valley with CCN Sunrise.
Good morning, everyone. We are so glad to have you with us on CCN Sunrise because we have an awesome show for you this morning. We are going to bring you the fight for Dylan, a little boy who has cancer and his mom is looking for alternative treatments, and the Fire Family Foundation is gathering around to duke it out to help raise money for him. You're going to love to hear that story. And Dr. Cullinane is here to tell you about a move-a-thon for special needs kids on how they can get involved and do activities at a special family event. And my beautiful co-host Loa is here, which I always love.
Yay, happy to be here.
Of course. And what do you have for us?
Today we are going to talk about the prosthetic arms movement, an awesome thing, the movement of some actual arms that are man-made. CCN Sports with PCC player faces down health problems and gets back on the softball field. That's an inspiring story.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for that story. You're going to want to hear about this special athlete. But I want to hear about your, summer's not too many months away. You got to start planning those road trips.
That's right.
And there was someone out there who created this road trip map of basically hitting all of the contiguous 48 states and hitting all the major historical sites or national parks.
Well, I'm the road trip queen. I got to have
are.
the wind in my hair, and I can't be bothered by a map. I got to go where I'm going to go. I'm
You're
the queen.
a free spirit.
I got the world's greatest bladder. I mean, I'm in the car 12 hours,
Oh
no
my gosh.
stops.
By yourself, or you take
whatever
You
is
can stop
happening.
for me if we road trip, right?
I got the iPhone playlist. I have one called Sing Practice. It's awesome. Keeps you awake the whole trip. That's how you road trip.
Yeah, my favorite road trip is always going up to Oregon and Seattle, and we come back down the coast hitting every lighthouse.
Pretty. Oh,
love it.
yeah.
Can't do it now, but anyway. But we want to say a big thanks to all of our sponsors who make this show possible before we go any further.
Crown City News is sponsored by Foothill Transit, San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, Pasadena Federal Credit Union, Senior Providers Network, Ability First, Beacon Media News, EH Financial, Ganal Lumber, Siren Arts Productions. Thank you for your support of Crown City News.
And now we're ready for CCN News, and we have Cheryl Bauman here
And
with
now,
us for the first time.
CCN. And now, CCN, Crown City News. Your news, your neighborhood starts right now.
Hi, Sehnita and Loa. Here's a look at some of the headlines making news right here in the San Gabriel Valley. Pasadena voters hit the polls this past Tuesday, March 10th, to decide who will represent them in the office of mayor, city council members for districts 1, 2, 4, and 6, and for PUSD school board seats 2, 4, and 6. CCN's Toni Meed joins us live with the story. Hi, Toni.
The city is electing a new mayor for the first time in 16 years. Candidates for mayor in District 1 will do a runoff April 21st because none of the candidates in those races reached 51% of the votes. Voters cast ballots to select a new mayor, elect new members of the City Council Districts 1, 2, 4, and 6, and seat 3 new members of the Pasadena Unified School District Board. Slightly more than 25,000 voters were counted on Tuesday for all the races combined. Council members Terry Tornick and Jackie Robinson led the race to replace Mayor Bill Bogart. Tornick took 37.1% and Robinson received 30.3% of the votes. These elections came as Pasadena City Hall faces a $6.4 million embezzlement scandal and a pending lawsuit because of it. Still, voters we spoke with say,
It's pretty exciting. It was a difficult decision. It took me a while to, try and listen to all of the pros and cons for each candidate.
Voting is the one voice that the citizenry has to make a difference.
For District 1, the runoff election will take place between PUSD board member Tyrone Hampton and retired Fire Chief Calvin Wells. That's it for now. Cheryl, back to you.
Thank you, Toni, for that report. Roy Bogugian won District 2 with 68% of the vote. Patrick Callahan with 55% in District 4. And Larry Torres took District 6 with 58% of the vote. For City Council, Districts 2, 4, and 6 were uncontested, which means that Margaret McCostin, Jean Masuda, and Steve Madison will all return to their districts. It's time to clear that brush around your house, and that's no April Fool's joke, especially during this critical drought. The Pasadena Fire Department will begin brush clearance inspections of April 1st, continuing through June of this year. You'll need to clear 100 feet around your home to not only protect your home, but make it safe for firefighters. Say the 30 feet closest to your house is the most critical in keeping the flames away. Firefighters warn that during extra dry conditions, even a small spark from a lawnmower could start a fire. They recommend using a smaller string trimmer. They also listed the following. If you could clean leaves, needles, and twigs from the roof and gutters, soak your trees and shrubs monthly to keep them moist, trim your tree limbs at least 10 feet from the chimneys and overhangs, and prune your trees properly, keeping your property free of accumulated combustibles such as dried vegetations, cutting, wood piles, and mulch planting areas 3 inches deep to suppress the weeds. So you can, for further information, contact the Fire Prevention Bureau at 626-744-4668. If your kids love watching worms in the compost bin, seeing butterflies fluttering around, or getting dirt under their fingernails after a day in gardening, then Kidspace Museum may have the perfect space for you. CCN's Jazmine Marquez talked to Exhibit and Education Director Peter Krabb on the new Kidspace greenhouse.
Hi everyone, I'm here at the Kidspace Museum with Peter Krabb, Director of Exhibits and Education. Mr. Krabb, what is the vision and goal with the greenhouse?
Actually, there's several goals for the greenhouse. It's a very multi-purpose space. So one of the things is to have a really nice, beautiful, light, green sort of transition from the outside to the inside for our guests to enjoy. And it's a program space, so there'll be ceramics and pottery going on in there, a lot of gardening, seed pot making, seed separation for little ones, mud, we have ceramic wheels, we have composting, worm bins, so all sorts of programming. We're also using it, we would like our guests to help us prototype some of the new experiences for the gardens project that we're doing, and we need to figure out what's going to work the best, and so we're going to prototype and try things out in there. For example, the mud experience, we're going to build some tables and have the kids play in mud with the parents and the families and get to enjoy that. And then what we'll do is, based on what we see and what they tell us, we'll improve it, and we'll go from there until we get to the final design.
That is amazing. Now, what is the age limit? I see many parents here with their children.
Yeah. Well, actually, we go to age 10. It's not that you can be older, but our target age is really birth to 10. And mostly the people, the greenhouse is targeted from 4 to 10. However, there are a lot of things for younger kids to do in there as well.
Now, what are the hours of the museum?
The museum is open 9:30 till 5 daily, although it is best to check the website because there are occasional closures. And the greenhouse is actually open from 10 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon every day.
So your next event is the butterfly season. Can you tell me a little bit about that, Peter?
Sure. It starts out with caterpillar adoption later this month, beginning March 21st, 22nd, and then culminates on May the 3rd with a butterfly release. And for more information on the caterpillar adoption, you can go to our website.
Sounds great. Thank you so much, Peter. For more information, log on to www.kidsmuseum.org. In Pasadena, I'm Jazmine Marquez, CCN.
Well, that's some of the news making headlines in the San Gabriel Valley this week. Sehnita and Loa, back to you.
Thanks for that, Cheryl. Families with special needs kids aren't always able to take part in kid-friendly events around town.
The Professional Child Development Association wants to change that with a special event that will get any kid moving with their upcoming Move-a-thon. Dr. Diane Cullinane joins us live to tell us all about it next.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
My workplace experience when I had kids, it was
4 kids.
4.
Yes.
Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4. It was a lot going on. It's a lot to juggle. And I always tried to make them think that I didn't have a job. So I tried to do all the mom things and then have my gig as well. But I worked long hours. I was on a film set. So those are long days to try to pretend like they don't exist.
It's so consuming. And then you have to pretend to the job, too, that, oh, no, I don't have kids, I don't have family, I can make it to everything. Yes. And you just can't. But, I've talked to 20-somethings who, there's this article out that you're going to be talking about, Dr. Michelle. But I've talked to 20-somethings who are just so, anti-working mothers and parents, and, oh, you made a lifestyle choice, so you have to live with it, and, you're inhibiting workplace. But the fact is, working parents are just juggling so much, making it happen, working hard, and just not kind of getting the support we need, right?
Yeah. It's the changing of the hats that I found was difficult, to be this, then switch like that on a dime.
And then expect to be fine in both roles. And I think I've noticed in my own experiences that I get more of those sneers and those looks from women versus men. Yes.
There we go.
Yes. Catherine Zaleski recently made a public apology on social media, giving her Catherine Zaleski's recent public apology to working mothers set off a social media frenzy with both positive and negative feedback. In her apology, she clearly admits to how she treated and perceived mothers in the workforce, from rolling her eyes to purposely scheduling late meetings when she knew mothers would have to leave work 5 minutes early to pick up their children. And although she has made it her current goal to provide a third type of workplace for mothers working from home, that their experience is still there. And there are many mothers that continue to experience this type of very subtle gender discrimination, whether it's a look or it's a snicker or just a comment. And although this topic has been brought to public awareness for years by individuals like Sheryl Sandberg, it continues to really be a struggle for working mothers versus the working father. Often there are biased perspectives on fathers versus mothers in the workforce. Men are ascribed specific characteristics, as are women, and unfortunately, these stereotypes are strongly held despite a person's performance. Fathers are viewed as more stable and committed to providing for their children, while mothers are often viewed as more distracted and flaky. Typically men are viewed as more competent, assertive, rational, and objective, while women are viewed as more caring, warm, emotional, sensitive. You know, while these traits are not negative, they are questioned when a woman is in a traditionally male role. You know, on the flip side, the same thing applies to men when men choose roles that are traditionally female roles. You know, Sehnita and Loa, at the bottom line, it's 2015, and we, you know, as women and men are still experiencing these really subtle gender discrimination, and it really impacts the workplace. It impacts how we perform and how others, you know, perceive how we should or should not perform.
Well, and I definitely like that you brought up the men too, because I think even for my husband, you know, he's at a point where now he's like, I'm not going to go to every happy hour or that kind of thing. Like, I'd rather come back home to my family, but not doing those extra steps. You know, some people are like, oh, well, they are not going to put in 100% like me.
Absolutely.
And that's rough. So, thanks, Dr. Michelle, for bringing that to our attention. Well, plenty going on throughout the San Gabriel Valley. A few weeks ago, San Gabriel Vice Mayor, soon-to-be Mayor Jason Pugh stopped by, and we're going to bring that to you next.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Well, there's plenty going on throughout the San Gabriel Valley.
A few weeks ago, San Gabriel Vice Mayor, soon-to-be Mayor Jason Pugh, stopped by to talk about what's happening in the city and upcoming events happening there. Take a look.
He's the Vice Mayor of the City of San Gabriel and on the City Council. Jason Pugh is here to tell us what is new in the City of San Gabriel.
Hi there, it's a pleasure to be here. We just had our first ever Lunar New Year Festival, which is really exciting. I think tremendously successful for a first time event.
Why first year?
Well, that's a great question. I
San
mean,
Gabriel.
yeah, in a city that's over like 60% Asian Pacific American. It was the first year that we had our own festival. We used to do it jointly with Alhambra. When the Great Recession hit, that funding got cut. And so we've brought it back to life here, something that we've done ourselves. We put a modern twist on this very ancient celebration, and we tried to blend the modern and the traditional and have it appeal not only to our Asian American community, but to community members of all ages and ethnicities. So I think it was really, really successful. I chaired the planning committee and, you know, helped get all the sponsorships, a lot of the community organizations involved, and our production partner, Collaboration Creative and Marketing, did a great job of putting together the performers.
So what were some of the big features at the event?
We had live fortune telling, live calligraphy, a tea garden, beer and wine garden, kids
What more
zone,
could you ask for?
live
right?
art installation. You know, Stacy Nalapraya came and did a beautiful, not a mural, but a chalk art piece on the ground. For the Year of the Ram, which is, February 19th was the first day of the Lunar New Year. And so, it was just a great, festival for everybody, fun for the whole family, food trucks.
So it sounds like you might do it next year, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that we want to make this an annual tradition, and it's really great to lay the foundation for a legacy and a tradition.
Speaking of foundation, there has been a lot of foundation being laid with a lot of development and project work. I know there was a $3 million infrastructure road work project, road repavement project that just started.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, we just started work on Las Tunas Boulevard, or Las Tunas Drive, between San Gabriel and Muscatel. That's exciting. We using some of our CDBG funds to do some road repaving in our CDBG areas. We've also just done some repaving within our village area. So, I mean, there's a lot of good work happening, and we will continue to do that. Streets and infrastructure is one of our community's top priorities. We're hoping to still get the funding to be able to repave Del Mar, which is definitely one of the worst streets that we have. In addition to that, of course, there's the Alameda Corridor East, or ACE project that's happening, which is these are two separate things that are going on simultaneously. And that project, the ACE project, is a $350 million project to lower the railroad tracks. So once it's done, it'll be nice because cars will no longer need to wait when the train goes by.
That is key.
Yeah, that reduces congestion, noise, and pollution, and then also it's better for safety as well. So,
how is it to bring bring businesses into the city of San Gabriel? What kind of challenges do you face?
Well, I think in the past we've struggled with how to market ourselves, but we've recently done a retail matching study that came out very positively, and we've done a really nice brochure that is that encapsulates the demographics and psychographics of the city of San Gabriel.
Anyone you're trying to attract into San Gabriel specifically?
Well, I think we would love to see a national brand supermarket. Starbucks is another.
Starbucks is everywhere. Why not San Gabriel, right?
Exactly.
What's going on, Howard Schultz? Let's make this happen.
Exactly. So, we would love to bring in those types of businesses, and we will be going to the International Conference of Shopping Centers, ICSC, in Las Vegas in May. I'll be the mayor at that time, and so we're hoping to really be able to talk to a lot of businesses and bring them into the city.
All right, well, when you have new things, please come back and tell us more about what's happening there.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so just in case you were confused, that was not Loa. That was when Mary was stepping in.
Pretty Mary.
Both beautiful ladies. But coming up next, he's been fighting brain cancer since he was just 13 months old, but little Dylan hasn't let it stop him.
That little hero and his mom join us live in studio along with the firefighters and other folks helping to raise money for his treatments. Next.
And now, CCN Crown City News. Your neighborhood starts right now.
When Dylan Wolf was just 13 months old, he was diagnosed with brain cancer. At 15 months, he received his first chemotherapy treatment and has already received 60 rounds of chemo in his life.
And there he is. Dylan's mom, Katie Wolf, is a clerk with the LA County Fire Department. The Fire Family Foundation is putting up its dukes to help Dylan in his fight to find alternative treatment. And Katie Wolf, you're here and you're going to tell us about the Family Foundation event that's happening tomorrow to help raise money for him at Title Boxing Club. But first, I just want to ask you, because I have a little one too. She's got 4 that are a little older, but what was it like for you when you found out at 13 months that he had that diagnosis, and what was in front?
It was life-changing. I mean, he's everything I've wanted. It was a struggle to get pregnant, and it was such a blessing to find out we had him. 10 fingers and 10 toes. He was perfect. His eyes started to wiggle side to side, and the pediatrician said, well, kids have that, they likely will grow out of it. When he started to eat finger foods in his high chair, he wouldn't grab directly at it. He did a sweeping grasp. Right after his first birthday, I took him to a series of eye specialists, and one finally told me he needs to have an MRI. There could be something else going on. And by myself, we went and had an MRI, and he was sedated.
Oh my goodness.
And that was the first scary thing.
Yeah.
And they walked us out to the car, and I got a phone call the next night from the doctor saying that he's got a tumor in his brain.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. First thing I thought was
Oh
they're going
gosh.
to do surgery.
Oh my gosh.
And then after we
Oh
went down
my
to Children's
gosh.
Hospital and saw a number of specialists, we found out the location and the risk would be too great to have surgery.
What's those people?
And they swiftly started scheduling chemo.
And was that hard to sign up for that? Because that's so hard on adults.
It didn't feel like there was any other choice.
Yeah.
You know, when it's your baby,
You just want them to be better.
you want them to get better, yeah.
And 60 rounds, that must have taken a lot of...
Every week, at least a
everything.
4-hour commitment.
Oh my goodness.
Hooked up to an IV through a little port right here in his chest. No poking. Yeah, it's all done.
Did you get to have any treats, Dylan?
We did.
Treats? Yeah, after?
Yes. His oncology team.
Oh my gosh.
And the
Oh my
staff there
gosh.
are
I
amazing.
Bella, Mama's
Oh my
superhero.
gosh.
Oh my gosh, we like your shirt, Dylan.
Well, so how did you because you're a clerk with the LA County Fire, how did they support you and how did you let them know what you were going through and being able to get to everything?
When I first brought it to my supervisor's attention, I think everybody was just shocked. It feels like maybe they didn't know what to do for us at first. I've needed a lot of accommodations, and it's taken some time, but we've gotten to where Dylan and I need to be, where I go in maybe a few hours a week.
So they've been really supportive.
Yeah.
And, I know that with all the chemo, you're looking for alternative treatments. And
Yeah.
that's how the Family Foundation has stepped in. And Lisa, you're the Pasadena Public Information Officer and
Hi.
chair of this event for the Fight for Dylan. How did you hear about her story and know that this was something that you wanted to get everyone on board with? Let me grab this mic.
I'm a proud board member of the Fire Family Foundation. It's a charitable arm of the firefighters' first credit union. And Robin McCarthy, I met Frank, and it was meant to be. When you see a face like Dylan's, you can't help but want to do something for him. So we thought of a firefighter challenge, non-contact, just a fun way to raise funds.
But so you put on your Dukes. You've been training for this?
Of course, yeah. Almost 50 years old. I'm good to go.
Well, I want to see this.
Okay, we're ready.
So what have you been training with?
Frank's got a great training method. Okay.
Okay, ready?
Ready.
Okay. Jab. Jab. Cross. Hook. Hook. Cross. Oh, sorry, jab.
What's that
Cross. Hook. Uppercut. Uppercut.
So, just a quick break. I want to ask about the event tomorrow because anyone can come in and spar with firefighters.
We have firefighter challenge. We have classes. Come see title boxing. Support Dylan. The firefighters are going to be grilling hot dogs. We're going to have raffles, fire engines, trucks. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We come beat the heat, escape indoors into title boxing. So it'll be a nice event.
How long have you been training?
6 months, maybe 6
6
months.
months? All right. Well, take us into the break and show us your moves.
Okay.
Go at 'em.
Cross. Jab. Hook. Hook. Uppercut. 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 Speed jabs.
Get him! Get him! Go get him! Right, go get him!
And you get a shirt too if you sign up.
Yeah, sure. All right.
I wish I was in school. If only I had a math test today. I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to.
Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help.
Enroll, we say, we want you to be okay. Enroll, we say, take care of people for goodness sake. There's a plan for every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Aww. You should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach
likes
your
you.
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit.
And now, live from Pasadena, it's CCN Sunrise with Sehnita Joshua Madison, Paulo Alejandria, the Crown City News team, and the CCN Sunrise segment stars. It's time to wake up San Gabriel Valley with CCN Sunrise.
All right, we're back with our second half hour. You saw a glimpse of him just now. He'll be talking with celebrity actor and soon-to-be CCN Sunrise morning co-host Joseph C. Phillips in a few minutes. And what do you have, Loa?
Oh, that bionic arm in our health conscious segment, and the move-a-thon. We'll talk about that too.
Absolutely. But first, we're going to talk about the blurred lines of, making a song your own.
Let's dish
with
about
Pharrell
that,
and
because
Robin
I'm all
Thicke.
about Pharrell. You know, is he not the most sincere-looking person ever? Just that face. I don't know him. I've never met him, but honestly, he's so sincere.
But I don't
kinda
know.
wanna
I guess
believe him.
not so much anymore. You know, Robin Thicke's trying to be like, I didn't write anything. I was on Vicodin the whole time. But I think this just happens so often with songwriters who just kind of take another song and make it their own. And I'm not
but
down
don't
with
you think that music goes in cycles? Like what we're hearing now, a lot of it is it's a lot like the old Motown, and a lot of it comes back. So
I think
don't
it's
know.
also it has to do with the music of today, which includes a lot of sampling and things like that. It's a whole different mentality
It
of
is,
working
but
with music.
you don't take someone else's work is what I've always grown up
That's
listening.
true.
But he's here with us as we're going to move into the morning buzz, and you're going to recognize him. He's been on the Cosby Show, where he played Denise Huxtable's husband, Lieutenant Martin Kendall, and you've also seen him in network TV shows like Bones, The Event, and Mentalist. And you'll be seeing a lot more of him around here starting next week as our CCN Sunrise co-host. Joseph C. Phillips joins us, and we are going to hit the ground running. We're going to talk about that letter to Iran that some of the GOP senators sent out.
The Cotton letter.
They're going around calling Obama naive, and he doesn't know what he's talking about, but they're listening to a freshman senator here.
Well, I don't think that they're calling Obama naive. I think the point is that his policy with Iran is naive, thinking that Iran is not going or doesn't want the bomb or is not going to get the bomb. The thing is, he doesn't want them to get the bomb on his watch. They're going to get it.
It's not that. We all know what they're working for, but we either have a seat at the table or we don't. And in the past, we haven't had a seat at the table. And that doesn't help us.
Well, we did have a seat at the table. There were economic restrictions put on them that was led by the United States, which I believe Obama took back. Listen, here's what
he hasn't yet, but the fact is, they've still, before Obama came, we've been talking about Iran and the nukes. So,
and they're going to get it. It's not a question of
but
if,
at least
it's when.
now we have a say. Do you think we have a say with this?
Well, I do. I think we have.
Here's the issue.
I'm gonna let Joseph.
I want to hear from Laura.
The issue here is that the president is trying to bypass Congress, and Congress is sending a message to the president and saying that if you are going to negotiate an arms deal with Iran, then that should be a treaty which should come through and be required advise and consent with the Senate. And I don't think that that's an unreasonable position to take.
Well, but the president can't bypass Congress. He's not allowed to. That's part of the deal.
Well, he is, our face for foreign policy, and they have said that this is a non-binding agreement.
Well, then, so what's the value of it?
But at least you're getting people at the table, and you're having them come to an agreement with multi-nations. It's not just the United States here. But
just on a wink and a handshake? I don't know.
Well, we've got nothing before that. We weren't even talking to them. We tried to pretend they don't exist. Sanctions is the only answer we had, which are working, but we need to move to the next step. And we need to move to the next topic. This Oklahoma University video that was released, it is just disgusting what they were singing along on the bus with this racist slants. And I think the main thing with that is, so many people try to make it seem like, oh, racism it doesn't exist anymore. We've moved on. We're post-racial society. And you see these private videos and you just realize that is not the case.
I've never heard anyone say that racism doesn't exist. I've never, ever heard anyone say that.
Really?
I hear people are saying that, but I've never heard anyone actually say it.
People say there are incidences, but it's not, in general, there is not racism anymore.
No, I think what it is that the power of racism, the social power of racism is greatly reduced. And I think that the reaction that people have had to this incident in Oklahoma is proof of that. When you have the entire student body marching and protesting against that university.
But the underlying tone here is that this bonehead thing that this frat guy did was caught on somebody's phone. That was caught on someone's phone. So do we now have to chase down everybody else in the university and check everyone's phones and get all of their stuff on that? And do we all want every stupid thing we do caught on somebody's phone?
But that is the society we're in.
That's disturbing to me.
But it is the society we're in.
That we no longer have any privacy, and we all should be on guard. That anything that you do anywhere, any stupid thing is going to be caught. Somebody's recording it and filming
got a
it.
phone.
Well,
Everybody's got their
we
iPhone
already
going.
know that with companies saying they're checking on Facebook and all of that, and they won't hire certain people. So when you know there are camera phones going on, you should expect that it might be going viral.
So is it a good thing that everybody's got a phone now? Are you glad about that?
I don't know. I am glad to know that people like this exist, and this is what their mentality is. Because this was beyond just like racism. I mean, they're talking about lynching here, which this wasn't even part of their generation, and they're still talking about it.
Well, I think that that this is a door that we don't want to walk through when private conversations now are subject to scrutiny by the rest of the world. And that you can be punished for what you say amongst your friends, no matter how repugnant, no matter how stupid.
Agreed.
And I don't think that's a door that I want.
It is the world we live in. We're going to talk really quickly and too quickly, bringing it home back to Pasadena. There were local elections here, and voter turnout is so
did
low.
anyone know there was a voter? Hello, we had an election. 17% came out and went, woo. Where was everybody?
So funny. I mean, yes, this election had to do with an embezzlement scandal, millions of dollars coming out of taxpayer dollars, and no one shows up to do anything about it.
Yeah, this is stuff that affects our day-to-day lives, the water that we drink, what's in our yard and our home, all the regulations that manage those things. And 17%? That's not very many people.
Higher than some places in LA.
Wow, Pasadena,
I think sometimes
we gotta vote.
Politicians like when there's low voter turnout. It's a lot less hassle to get a few people to the polls and get you elected. I think one solution for that is probably to move these local elections to November so that they're tied with national elections. I think you'll get far greater turnout.
It's so much to handle,
It's not
but
November.
We've had politicians, yes. I remember someone coming in and saying his strategy to win was low voter turnout and counting on that. But
whatever it takes, I guess.
Well, Joseph, we're going to have you back next week. So
looking forward to it.
You get this chair. And if you ever need me,
and the smart paper.
And the smart papers. So if you need me, just put your lips together and blow. I'll show up and help you kids.
You're always here. Well, you'll get to see a real-life $6 million man. Remember that old show? It's pretty much a reality now.
Segment star Dr. Jerome Lisk introduces us to a double amputee who gets bionic arms. Next in the CCN Sunrise Health Conscious segment.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Okay. I don't think he has superhuman strength yet, necessarily, but a double amputee has received bionic arms, sort of like the $6 Million Man.
Wow. Segment star Dr. Jerome Lisk joins us live to tell us more in the CCN Sunrise Health Conscious segment. As a neurologist, this interests you, right? Because this is the brain and everything talking.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
Amazing.
When you have technology in the brain, you have no choice but to have it get exciting.
Oh my gosh.
This is as excited as you get, huh?
Yeah, this is about excited as it gets. And we saw this story on Blazing Gizmo, and we couldn't resist actually bringing this to you. And the more amazing is that Leslie Bond lost his arms in an electrical accident. Doctors amputated both of his limbs at shoulder level. Now, after 4 decades, he is able to use both of his arms again through the wonders of medical technology. Now, some may call these bionic arms. They actually come from Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Lab, which has been working on creating the modular prosthetic limbs, or MPLs. For more than 10 years, they've been doing this. Leslie Bond uses his mind to control these prosthetic limbs. They first put on the body socket, and then what they do is they use these sensors to sense the nerve impulses in Bond's shoulder. These sensors then transmit this to real movement on the prosthetic limbs. Then what they do is they use a virtual reality computer in order to have him test these out. After that, they then fit him with the prosthetic limbs, and as you can see, every time he thinks about a movement, he can actually control the arms. Now what he does is he has to think about each movement individually. He has to move the wrist, then the elbow, and then the shoulder. Now this amazing technology will help us to help war veterans, children born without limbs, and those in traumatic accidents. And actually at Caltech University and other places, they've actually put a computer chip in the brain on the motor strip area that controls movement, where people can control their movement actually without those sensors on the shoulders.
So at some point,
So
it's not
exciting.
going to have to be where you have to think, fingers move, elbow move. It will be integrated like we do.
Right, and see the exciting part about this is that he's not the very first person to use this mind-controlled prosthetic limbs, but they've done it with other amputees at the elbow level or with one shoulder amputated, but he's the first bilateral shoulder amputee, and with the chip technology or grid implanted into the brain, eventually it's going to become more fluid, more stronger.
It's miraculous.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
super
Amazing.
exciting. I can't imagine after 40 years how exciting for him to pick up a ball.
Imagine we'll be in 20 years.
Exactly.
Wow.
Well, thanks for bringing that to our attention, Dr. Lisk.
Sure.
Well, families with special needs kids can't always take part in kid-friendly events around town.
One local organization wants to change that with a special event that will get any kid moving, called the Move-a-thon. Dr. Diane Cullinane joins us live with more next.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad was cute.
They were looking right at us. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just please, don't leave. Okay, but remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
You wouldn't let money just blow out of your house. So when your AC or heater is on, make sure the doors, windows, and fireplace flue are shut tight. If you're headed out, turn down the AC or lower the heat by 10 degrees. And always keep your water heater set at 120. A little bit of common sense goes a long way. Get more great tips at energysaver.gov.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Families with special needs children don't always get to participate in all the family-centered events around town. Dr. Diane Cullinane is with us today. She's the Executive Director of the Professional Child Development Association, or PCDA, and she's going to tell us about this Move-a-thon.
Thanks for being here, Dr. Cullinane. So first of all, tell us about your organization. What do you do? How do you cater to special needs families?
Right. Professional Child Development Associates is a group of professionals, and what we do is provide all different kinds of therapy services and programs for children with autism and other special needs from birth to 21 years of age.
And how do they hear about you? How do they know to come to you?
You know, it's interesting. A lot of children are referred from the regional center, which is a state organization, and the second most common way people hear about us is through the internet.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So tell us how do you adapt this to all different types of special needs?
Yeah.
How do you create an event for all these kids?
Yeah. So Move-a-thon is going to be a family fun day. It's free for families, and the families are invited to come, and we will have all variety of different kinds of sports and moving activities for them to do. So that might include, we're going to have an obstacle course, a running clinic, dance, yoga. There'll be taiko drumming. There'll be places for them to practice learning golf and all kinds of sports. So
that's why we have some of these things out here just to show that these kids will be able to take part in everything, which might not be possible at other events because they don't have, you know, the adapted events.
Well, it's really a place for them to learn about all the opportunities that there are for them to participate in various kinds of activities.
So at your clinic, I think, you have floor time. That's a big part of the therapy. How does that work?
Floor time is the term for a particular way of working with children based upon understanding the whole child and the emotional intent or why children do what they do based on how they're feeling. So it's a philosophy and it's an approach, and we use that at our agency.
Well, we have more information about the Move-a-thon that's coming up on Saturday, April 11th, so have some time to plan for that. And it's all at the Rose Bowl
Yes,
correct?
it's by the Rose Bowl. It's actually by the Aquatic Center.
Okay.
And we will have the bounce house and all these activities for kids to do. When they arrive, they'll get a passport, and then they can have their passport stamped for all the different activities
That's
that they've
so
done.
fun.
And then we'll have a stage where there'll be performances of dance and taiko drumming and things throughout
Well,
the
that sounds
throughout
so
the day.
fun. Thank you so much for coming and putting on an event like
Sounds
that
like
for
you've
all
covered the
families.
bases there.
Yes.
That's great. Thank you for having us.
All right, good luck. And she wasn't about to let health issues keep her down.
TK Trinidad introduces us to a local college athlete who went right back into her favorite sport after a kidney transplant. Next.
People are super.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Hey, Hard, what's this? That's my resignation letter. You're resigning? Why? Because you're constantly ignoring me. You're half as active as you used to be, and you eat stuff like this. You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit. I forgot. I'll do better. Please, don't quit on me. Okay, but remember, it's not what you say. It's what you do.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you.
Let's go for a walk.
Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to a stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
A kidney transplant would take most people out of their game. Pasadena City College softball player Holly Riker-Sloan was about to give up playing after her operation until her coach talked her back onto the field.
CCN sports reporter TK Trinidad has her inspiring story.
No matter who you are, when you have a major surgery or operation, it takes a toll on your mind, body, and spirit to get back to the healthy person you once were. Pasadena City College softball player Holly Riker-Sloan has been through a lot in her journey to get back on the field. About 3 years ago, she had a kidney transplant that she thought would take her out of the game forever.
July of 2013, it finally came to the date where I was like, well, this is your time. And thank God I had a sister who was not only a perfect match, but was, willing to do that for me.
After her kidney transplant, Holly decided that she was going to give up the game and just coach. Yet all that changed when Monica Tatlinger, who is warmly called Coach T, saw Holly's talent at a PCC alumni game and thought Holly would be the perfect addition to the team.
She is such a student of the game. She doesn't feel like she knows it all. She's constantly learning. She constantly is asking, hey, coach, what can I do about this? How do I get better at this? And, she really does help to try and mentor some of those other student athletes. We sometimes call her Dr. Holly. She seems to have the answers for everything.
It kind of started with Coach T approaching me with our other coach, Jose, talking to me about possibly coming back and playing. I decided not to play anymore about 3 years ago. I decided to start coaching instead, and I just came back for a little alumni game, just for a little play, just a little pickup play, and they approached me and said, hey, you have talent, you should come out, at least come look at the school, see if you like it. And I just fell in love immediately, and I just had to do it.
For Holly, her journey back to the field has been a long and unexpected one, but she's happy she gets to live out her passion again.
Pasadena is my number one right now. Just get through school here, and then I want to transfer. I can't transfer to a D1, sadly, because, you have a D1 clock, 5 years, and that's expired. But D2 is on my list, and I want to go, and I want to get my BSN, go back to school, get my nurse practitioner, and that's just, nothing's going to stop me.
In Pasadena, I'm TK Trinidad, CCN.
got some fighters in
Yeah.
this show, right? Wow.
Holly, I like your style.
Yeah.
And speaking of style, channeling her inner goddess, fashion icon Sue Wong kicked off LA Fashion Week.
Segment star Valerie Milano had a chance to talk to the designer at a special event in the CCN Sunrise Entertainment segment.
Fashion took center stage at an event at the Taglian Complex in downtown Hollywood Monday, March 9th. Legendary fashion designer Sue Wong told me she believed every one of her models looked like an Erte painting that came to life on the runway. I'd say she was right. Her show was like a living work of art, and she brought a whole new level of glamour and sophistication with her rock opera, beauty, magic, transformation, mythos, and goddesses. Sue's show was the opening act for Fashion Week 2015. At the invitation-only event with over 900 guests, including LA County Supervisor Michael Antonovich, we saw many celebrities there, like CSI Miami's Sophia Milos, Motley Crue's Nikki Sixx, Titanic's Billy Zane, and more.
I'm here for one of the most exciting fashion events in this part of the country.
To top it off, Sue Wong's sprawling home was the gorgeous venue for the post party. The home has famous past and present historical owners, including the legendary Norma Talmadge, Jimi Hendrix, and Johnny Depp. What a night. Here's what Sue Wong had to say about the event.
Yes, I'm very excited to really present my Mythos and Goddess show today at the Taglian Complex. And, my ethos is all about goddesses and their archetypes and what they really represent to us in terms of our psyche. And so I have all kinds of representational goddesses that I'm showing on the runway tonight. It will be Pele, goddess of fire. It will be White Terra, who is the Eastern embodiment of, I would say, Aphrodite. It will be Helena of Troy. It will be Medusa, the dark and, darker aspects of feminine nature. And and then we have Aphrodite, of course, the goddess of love, who's going to be closing my show. And it's going to be a very, very dramatic and very operatic show. I basically produce a Gothic opera.
A few months ago, Sue was honored with the prestigious Tiffany Lifetime Achievement Award for Enduring Excellence in Fashion Design. It was presented to her by cool rocker Dave Navarro and charming actor Vincent DePaul from Poseidon. Catch more entertainment news on crowncitynews.com and my website, thehollywoodtimes.net, and don't forget the.
Thanks, Valerie. Wow, those were some threads there. Gorgeous dresses. Well, that's it for this show, and we'd like to thank all of our sponsors for supporting the show.
Yes, special thanks to Joseph C. Phillips for classing up the joint with that bow tie.
Bow tie, fancy.
And also Diane Cullinane from Pasadena Child Development Associates, Katie and little Dylan Wolf, thank you, little sweet Dylan, Pasadena Fire PIO Lisa Derdian, and Frank Perez of Tidal Boxing Club in Pasadena for joining us. What a fun gang of people today. It's great.
Exactly. Check out that event tomorrow at Tidal Boxing Club. Thanks also to our segment stars, reporters, and crew, and especially to you out there for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
Have a good one.
Crown City News is sponsored by Foothill Transit, San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, Pasadena Federal Credit Union, Senior Providers Network, Ability First, Beacon Media News, EH Financial, Ganal Lumber, Siren Arts Productions. You too can sponsor Crown City News. Call 626-344-8314 or email sponsors@crowncitynews.com. Thank you for your support of Crown City News.